last year we spoke about the idea of the Torah, Hashem in Yecheskel, the Novi's Menachemos, Zrak Lechem Hayim Tehirim, that the Eibush is going to purify us, and talking about based on the Rishonim, we're talking about the Novi's being Mitame to Tahara from Eshenida. It's going on the Midas Toivis that will come, that will be L'Chos Lovay, which is actually started already, like we said over Edelstein. The source of, and we Marich and how the Bnei Tashemidos and how the mikvah is a source for Midas Toivis. Taras המשפחה is a source of Midas Toivis for children to have pure neshamas, and even a goy that's together with his wife for the sake of real love, not the sake of lust. He'll be zeicher to have heilige neshamas. I want to go into a deeper step about how the mikvah affects the children being born. Not only does it affect the midas, it actually affects having children. The Gemara says like this. The Gemara says, Omer Rabbi Yitzchak said, Omer Rabbi Ami, in the name of Ami, Eino isha beseberes, a woman doesn't become pregnant, elo samach levesta, only close to when she gets her cycle period. Shenemar, heim ba'avoyin chalalti, I was born through avoyin. Rashi explains, avoyin is damnidus, means to say that he was born through the samach levest, so the damnidus had effect on him being born. And Rashi brings down from the Gemara and Psachim that a woman that has a lot of damnidus is going to have a lot of children. And when there's a lot of damnidus, will have a lot of children. So the child is born through damnidus. So he was born through avoin. It's a shaila. Well, the isha, we're talking about the isha doesn't get the vest afterwards, or even if the isha gets the vest afterwards, means that the damnidus turned totally into the vlad, or maybe she still has damnidus. But that's what the Gemara says, that samach levest, she gets pregnant. Rabbi Yochanan says samach letvila. When she's close to the mikveh, when she went to the mikveh, then she's mesaber. Eino isha mesaberes ella samach levest. Tosfos already says it doesn't mean only. Means most, only means over here most of the times. So what's the source? The Gemara says the chet is lashon of tahara, and that's why. So when the isha is matar l'bayla, she gets pregnant. So he says, so Riech also learns Heim Bavachal to go damnidus, that when she becomes a nida and she's mitar of Heim Bavachalti through that she becomes a nida and you go to the mikveh and mitar, she becomes pregnant. So we see that having a child being misaber, becoming pregnant, has to do with going to the mikveh. We have to understand what that means. What shatake. Get to it maybe soon, Kar of Mamish, but this thing is brought down. The Rishonim is brought down. Allah. And we find this concept other places also. The Gemara says, Rabbi Yochanan, I was left over from the beautiful children of Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim had the nicest people in the world, and I have that beauty from Yerushalayim. Yochanan says, and because of that, Yochanan have a ozel, he would go and sit on the doors by the door of the mikveh. Omer kisol k'menes Yisrael tefillas mitzvah when the daughters of the Yiddish daughters will come out of the mikveh. Lefgoy bi they should bump into me. Kehechdil hevelu b'nei shapir kavasi. They should have children that are beautiful like me. Kamiri yaraisa kavasi. They learn the Torah like me. In fact, Gemara, they told the Gemara, they asked him, "You're not scared of Ayin Hara?" He said, "No, I'm an Enikel from Yosef. There's no Ayin Hara. Show to me." And the Gemara says that when you're not Yetzer Hara, what about the Yetzer Hara? It says that he was clean from the Yetzer Hara. That's what the Gemara says. And the Gemara says, and that's one Gemara. Another Gemara in Psachim says, is the Shach is now Simon Kuf Tzadik Ches. The Mashaka, just to point out, the Mashal says that this is a B'yechon L'Shitasa, the Eine Isha Mesaberes El Samol Chavesta, Elo Tvilasa. He says that that's why B'yechon went to the mikveh, they should see that he has beautiful children. The Gemara in Mesechus Psachim, brought down the Shach Simon Kuf Tzadik Ches says, talks about different certain concept about when a woman comes out of mikveh. Not sure if it's mamish what we're talking about. The Ramah in Yeridea Simkov Tzaddik Ches says, "Yesh noshim lezor kshiyotzes min atfila." A woman, when it comes out of the tefillah, she makes sure she pagad b'bachavita, she pegeh in her friend. Shal yifka tchila davatama, she should not bump into davatama or bechaya behema or chaya behema. And if she bumps into one of these stuffs, if she bumps into a dog or a cow or a camel or something, she should go back into the mikveh. If she's Yerushalayim, he is Shemaim, Tazel, Tizwa, she should go back into Tefillah. This is the sources from the Rishonim, Rekech, Sharadur, Kolba. Yeah, that's what the Ramah brings down. The power of the effect, what happens when you bump into something, Tomei, when you come out of the mikveh, is so strong that if you're Shemaim, you should go back into the mikveh. Either you're not Thomas Nida, or that it could affect you. And the Shach over there is Marich over here. Question about if you bump into a horse. It says when you bump into a horse, it's good to bump into a horse, even though it's not a Tavatar, because it's going to be, the children are going to be tall, and people are going to listen to them, and they're going to understand Torah, they're not going to forget, and people are going to be scared of them. It's like a horse is like something very royal. It's like something like, and the children will be royal like that, also smart, and yeah. This is all when you come out of the mikveh. And what's the source of all this? The source of all this is a medrash. One of the midrashim is the medrash Asker. It says a story that the Bishmol Kohen Gadol was one of the 7 nicest people in the world. And his face was like mamash like a malach. He was so pure and beautiful. When Rabbi Yossi was when he was a really older person, some say Elisha, his father, she said, his wife told him, "Listen, what's going on over here? It seems like she didn't have any atzlach with the children. Maybe I'm not sure if they lived or not, but she asked him, why is everyone being matzlich with the children and I'm not being matzlich with the children?" So he said, the reason is because when they come out of the mikvah, they make sure only to bump into something tar. Make sure to not to bump into anything tummy. And that's why the children are good children. So the Medrash says that she went to the mikveh and she bumped into a dog and a chazer and this and that 80 times until the Eibusha sent Malach Gavriel that look how much this tzaddik is being mitzvah and and he sat in the base of Tefillah, the Malach Gabriel, and she saw him, the Malach Gabriel, and he looked, and the Malach Gabriel took her and to her house, and that's when Bishmuel was born, and he was the Kohen Gadol, and he was beautiful, and it was mamash, like he looked like the Malach Gabriel in Shemayim. That's why when Shmuel ended up going to Shemayim, the Malach Gabriel ended up coming towards, talking to him. Why? Because he was from that church. What do we see over here? The power for the mikveh to affect the children that are born. The power for the mikveh to affect the children that are born. Again, we still didn't get into whys like this, but Chazal say over here that that when coming out of the mikveh is not just a way to purify yourself to your husband, it's a way to have children. Not only a way to have children, it's going to affect their children, their pneumius. If the mikveh, and coming from the mikveh, you hold yourself strong. Again, you don't go to the mikveh and all of a sudden you're full of lust. You don't go you keep yourself away from Davarim Tameim. You hold yourself just intimate and love and midas toivus. You can have children like Shmuel Kohen Gadol, like Malach Gabriel. And what's the idea over here? What's the idea? In Sefer Mei HaShaleach, Hilch Mikvois from the Mechaber Sefer Lechem Acharas Lechem, he goes in and he says that a mikveh is the chana for the child. He brings a lot of sources that we just brought, and he says we see from here that the mikveh is the chana for having a child. And the Sefer Lechem Mesumah Hilchos Nida some Kepates says that what is the reason that the reason is because when she comes out of the mikvah, she's mishtaikdik. She's her grace taiva to be mishtaikakas babalo. She wants to be with her husband and misraba taivasa, and she wants, and her taiva gets stronger. As a goyim ibn, this is the reason, the source for becoming pregnant. Sefer Mishnah, Menashe Klein Zechayim Levracha, he says, in Tshuvas Mishnah Halachas, he speaks about that, scientifically, it doesn't seem like that's the time of ovulation. Now, after Gzeir from Gzeir, that we will go to the mikveh after like 2 weeks. So that's the time of ovulation. So it's very good. Now, in the Metzias of our generation, it's very good why a woman becomes pregnant by tefillah. But the truth is, in times of Chazal, there was no Gzeir. We didn't wait the time the way today, and sometimes ladies have other times. And Chazal say that most of the time a woman becomes pregnant when she goes to the mikveh. It's nothing to do with Gzeir from Gzeir. So how does that work with scientifically this Gemara of Inish U'Smer Samach Vesta? So he said, according to the Lechem Simla, that over here the reason is not because of ovulation, the natural ovulation, that the taiva gives is a reason for the woman to become mis'aber. That strong taiva that comes after the mikvah is a reason she should become pregnant. So Mishnah Halacha says that based on this concept, he doesn't bring the Halacha Simla, but he says the same idea. He says that the goyim there with their wives all the time, so they don't have the matzun etzels and shtem katana goyim, so they don't have that strong desire to be with their wives, and they don't have that natural taiva that so strong that has an effect on the pregnancy. And he brings down from Chachmei Rei, from doctors, that a lot has to do with the taiva and b'shas ma'isa. Bring that from doctors, and he says, I know a case that the doctors told them to keep away from a while, their taiva should be, that they didn't have children, and like that, the taiva will be stronger, it will help out in pregnancy. And I did a little research myself, and that's what I also found that there's a lot of tests that the desire, this tremendous desire, b'shas bia, has an effect on the children, the woman becoming pregnant. That's yeah. And he says, it says the Gemara says that that when a woman beautifies herself to her husband, she shows with action that she's really interested in being with his husband. Then it's a mitzvah on him to be with her, to be intimate. And the Gemara says that in this case they'll have banim zcharim, like smart children, like Shevi Yisachar, because that's when Leah was together with Yisachar, came out of the Yaakov and Leah when she beautified herself to Yaakov in order he should come to her. So he says, what's the part? What does it help for a woman to beautify herself? I think the Ravid said this is one of the chiyuv oina, maybe the main chiyuv oina when the issue is mishtoikik. What does it help? If they're not going to have children, what does it help? And the Theret says that because she's so mishtoikik, now they'll have children, and they'll have very smart children like Shevi Yisachar. And in the Pirish and the Medrash First Tzion, he says also this idea that's the reason why she has children, Sumach Lטבילתה, and it says that's why Isha Kisisriel Yalda Zachar, because I'll say that the Isha Mezres Tchila, the Banim Zcharim, is that we see from there that what does it mean that her taiva is strong, is going to bring out is going to be a reason for her to have a child, a Zachar. So we see the taiva has an effect on the children. That's not so to the stark raya, because over there it's a reason for her to have eggs, but just to say that in the isha in the saberet, that can be any times, but in isha saberet el samach lavesta, I'm not sure if that's a proof, but the same idea he understood the same thing, that the power of a mikveh is after such a long time that they're away it's so strong. It brings out the hava, and tav is so strong that that's a reason to have children, and it's a reason to have effect on the children, and that is part of the Zrakti Aleichem Tehorim, that Kalsel Galus is so mishtoikik to come back to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Now on the way back to Eretz Yisrael, because so many Yidden returned to Eretz Yisrael, there's nowhere anywhere else that there are Yidden, no place in the world where there are so much Yidden in one place as in Eretz Yisrael, and Eibush is helping that the children are coming back to Hashem. That's the Ma'azrak Aleichem Tehorim. You should be Zoiche to Chama from this week, last week, all the Shiva and Dנחmetã, Mikarav, Meher B'Yameinu.